Welcome to another Empty Mountain video upload. So today is March 19th and I just checked the temperature and it is 59 degrees out. What? This is the highest temperature we've had since November, October. So maybe spring is on its way a little bit. As you can see, we still have some snow here, but it is on its way out, melting pretty quickly. So let's see, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 6 days ago, we got like 7 inches of snow. And now it's 59 degrees. So, you know, that's how it goes here in Montana. We vacillate a lot weather and temperature-wise throughout the year. And today we had the satisfying task of doing a humanure load for a compost toilet system. And how we tend to break it down between Mike and I right now is that he lifts and empties the buckets. He like opens up the pile and then lifts and empties the buckets. And then I take it from there. So I do all the cleaning and then I close up the pile and cover the pile. And so that works pretty good for us as far as a divide and conquer situation. So this is the pile. This is our new pile. So we just started this in August. This is our old pile. This took us about a little over 2 years. So this is our original pile, 2 years, and you know, that's with the two of us, plus, you know, the events and retreats that we've had, which have been small. So primarily, you know, that's just the two of us. And I keep notes about such things, and let's see if I can one hand find my notes here. Okay, so yeah, we started this pile in August. This is this new pile in August. We've done now 5 loads into this new pile, and the old pile I estimated has about 172 buckets, 5-gallon buckets of humanure, and 24 5-gallon buckets of veggie compost in it. And so, like, based on the calculations I did, which are probably conservative, but based on what I looked up online and average use and average, like, water use per flush of toilet, what I came up with is that that's around 9,600 gallons of saved water usage. So if we had a flush toilet, this would be the equivalent of like 9,600 gallons of saved water. And again, that number might be a little conservative, but that's what I came up with. So I just covered this with some cover material, which is some sawdust material. And I think it's covered well enough. So when you have your pile of humanure, like, you want to cover it properly with cover material. And then if it starts to smell or attract bugs, it just means you haven't added enough. We haven't had that problem, so we've always, you know, we've gotten our system down pretty well. So I think that's pretty good. Now, as you can see, this is very short, and you may be wondering why that is, because that one's so tall. So when we started this pile, we just worked with what we had on hand. And what we had was this amount of, like, chicken wire. And our thought process is that we'll just add to it as time goes on. Right now, it's super nice because we can just load the buckets. We don't have to get a ladder and a plank, and we don't have to, it's not a whole thing. We just, you know, Mike can just heave-ho the buckets over. And then when we start getting this filled, we'll just add another line, another layer of the chicken wire, and just, you know, make it bigger as we go. So that's what we're testing out right now. So when we did the load today, we loaded 11 buckets, 11 loo buckets of contents into the compost, and 2 full veggie buckets, so 2 5-gallon buckets of veggie compost. The last time we did a humanure load, was January 25th. So it's almost 8 weeks ago. So 8 weeks is what we can go with the amount of buckets we have on hand right now, which is around 12 loo buckets and 2 veggie buckets. So yeah, once every 8 weeks or so, we're doing a human load. So that's not, very much. It's not very time consuming to do it. And I was able to make use of a lot of the snow around to wash out the loo buckets too. But we have a lot of water on hand right now, so I didn't need to do that. But, we're always in sort of conservation mode and using what we have on hand mode, so that worked pretty good. So yeah, this is one of the most satisfying sights ever, which is like, all the clean loo buckets over here. And Mike made this, we might have featured this already, but Mike, ahead of the snow fly, ahead of the winter and the snow flying last year, Mike decided to make this covered storage unit, which has been amazing. So we upgraded from just having tarps covering all of our sawdust and our straw, and then we, made this into 2 sections here. As you can see, this is the last of our cord of wood that we purchased in like November. So we still have quite a bit left. And then the loo buckets over there, and then this is all of our sawdust for use in the loo buckets themselves as cover material. And then, as you can see, our straw, and then this is some actual leftover of different sawdust we had. That is actually this here, the cover material. So anyway, so we do our best to make use of everything we have on hand here. And fortunately, yeah, Mike was doing a lot of milling, so this is all fresh. It smells amazing. It's so nice. There was a time when he wasn't doing milling, so we did have to find a local source of sawdust, which actually did take us a little while, and we went around to a few different places. And had a hard time kind of finding what we need, because we need it to be really fine material, not like, the smaller the better. So we were finding a lot of stuff, but it was just too big and chunky for use in the loo buckets. And so, anyway, so we did find some stuff. We had to sift it. But anyway, now we're back to using fresh stuff, and Mike will be doing more milling this year too. So I think, we'll be back and having enough material for quite a while that way, which will be nice. But yeah, another thing we're doing today is Mike is cleaning out our rain barrels, because we have decided that, we feel pretty confident in hooking up our rain barrels again at this point. Like, it's going to get below freezing. It'll get below freezing again and for a little while, but I don't think we'll have a hard freeze. Like, I think we're probably done with that. Which means, it takes a while for, a bunch of water to freeze, and we're going to have some rain coming up. And so, yeah, we feel like now is the time where we can plug the rain barrels back in instead of collecting 1 5-gallon bucket at a time off the roof, which we have been doing and has been working. That was one of our experiments this winter, being out here for the first full winter, like, how our water situation would go. We did get more buckets to store inside the house for rainwater and snow melt. And mostly we had plenty to last through the winter that way. There's only 1 or 2 weeks where we were just like really dry here, and I had to just schlep a little bit more water from town. But that wasn't a big deal. So, but other than that little short spell, we've had enough water through rain and snow melt to take care of all of our washing up needs and shower needs and all of that good stuff. So, but now I think we're getting close to being able to store water back outside, which would be nice, and open up a little bit more room in our cabin. And soon we'll be able to keep the shower all hooked up, and we won't have to dismantle it every time, because the unit and the pump and everything can't freeze. So we might be getting close to being able to keep that hooked up outside, which is always a nice bonus for that season when we get to do that. So, but yeah, Mike is cleaning out the rain barrels, just doing a little bit of washout, because stuff gets collected in there. We are not highly like dialed in on our system for rainwater catchment from the roof. We have a very basic filtration system to try to keep, you know, the bulk of the stuff out, keep the pollen down. You know, we do our best to keep organics out of there, because once stuff gets in the barrel, it starts breeding stuff. It starts getting green and algae and stuff like that, which isn't the worst thing, especially for how we're using the water, but we try our best to kind of minimize that as much as possible. So he's over there working on cleaning out the rain barrels and getting those reset up. So that's what's going on here today at Empty Mountain. I'm in a t-shirt. What? First time I've been outside in a t-shirt for a number of months. Feels pretty nice. Yeah, Mike's been doing a bunch of snow clearing with the ATV in order to hopefully help mitigate like the mud fest that we are already starting to have now that the snow is melting and the ground is thawing. And he also dug in some channels for drainage in our road and parking meadow to help to divert some of the water melt so that it doesn't just get to be like a muddy mud fest. And at some point we'll probably bring in some, I don't know, some gravel or something to kind of help mitigate some of that mud run that we have from where we park to where the cabin is. But right now it's working what we're doing, so one step at a time. Oh, so nice out. Feels so nice out. We were actually able to like unstick the solar panels that was just encased in snow, and then it froze, and then we got more snow, and today we finally were able to unstick the panels to move them and catch more of the sun, so that was nice. So now we're drawing some sunshine today. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good day.